Hello, my name is Camilla and I'm a member of the professional tutor team here at Renshaw College, and I'm going to talk to you today for 5 minutes about time-saving strategies that I use in my teaching and learning each week to help me manage my time more effectively. So the top 5 tips are as follows. Number 1 is to plan 5 resources only a week. The second one is having an online platform of file of ready-to-go templates, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a second. Thirdly, using Word, MS Forms and ZipGrade for assessment. 4, making sure that you have effective peer marking strategies to reduce your marking load further. And then number 5 is using my students to help me produce resources. So I'm going to give you a quick guide and sort of introduction as to each of those things. So the first one is my 5 weekly resources. So the previous week to my lessons, I have a think about what I'm going to be doing with my classes over the following week. And I think of a particular resource for each day. So for Mondays, for example, I will do a Can You Remember with each of my classes. So if I'm creating the PowerPoint or the slide, all I have to do is just adjust a little bit to sort of be able to input information for each of those classes or make it right for each of those classes. And of course, that saves me time by simply just producing that one resource. On Tuesday, I might think of something different to do. Again, I will do that with all of my classes. So I'll integrate that activity into all of my lessons. So again, it's doing little adjustments, but I've got 5 activities for the day. Same with Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. And I find this really effective. Firstly, it gets me to think about a variety of different activities, just one each day. And of course, when I come back to those lessons in the following year, I have a whole variety of resources and engaging sort of activities within my lessons that are sort of feeling that I haven't sort of spent ages preparing. So I find this really, really helpful just to focus on one thing at a time, and it really does save a lot of time for me as well. The second one is for having access to online templates. I feel this has been a massive advantage to me, certainly in planning my lessons. On our VLE, we have a section for teaching and learning called Toodle, and on there we have a whole raft of resources available to us that we are able to just pick from. And there's templates, there's ideas, there's all sorts that get you to be able to use those in your lessons with minimal input from yourself. So if you wanted to say get a template for a bingo game, then it's already there. You're not having to create it from scratch. It's also good as well for motivation and sort of a bit of inspiration sometimes. And you're thinking, I really could just do with a quick activity for this lesson. And you can literally go on here and it will be there for you, and you can then just titillate it in your own way for your particular lesson. To assist with that in science, which is the department that I am in, we also have an inspiration station. And this is a picture of our inspiration station here. And on there we have a few baskets containing different templates of different sort of common resources that are used in lessons, with things like bingo. We've got red and green amber cards, we've got true and false cards, and there's all sorts on there. And it's basically, again, people can just grab the templates, they can use them, the students can write them down. We tend to laminate them, students can write them down. Again, time saving, not having to print things out. It's easily grabbable. And again, just gives you a little bit of inspiration as well. So you're saving time not only with thinking about what you're going to do, but actually also the production of them as well. And they are both really effective. The third one is saving marking time. Now, there are 3 ways in which I do this most regularly. The first one is the dictate function on Word. This is absolutely brilliant for, I'll just move this down so you can see. This is actually brilliant for giving feedback. So particularly, say for me, for biology, we do have an essay, we do mark. And of course, I want to give quite detailed feedback, and you can be writing away, but actually I found that I give a lot more feedback if I can speak it. So I usually use dictate as a way of speaking out the feedback that I want to give, and I can either then put it in a Word document and attach that to the students' work so that they have the written feedback there, or even record it so that they are having to engage with it. I've used that quite a lot as well, but that's really time saving for me. I can talk a lot quicker than I can type or write. The second one is for ZipGrade. So for those of you who have multiple choice aspects in your exams and things like that, this has been brilliant for me. You can download these answer cards from the ZipGrade website, and literally you scan them when the students have completed them on your mobile phone, and it marks them for you. You can literally mark a whole class in less than 5 minutes. That's exactly what I want. And of course, they get immediate feedback. I've also really enjoyed this time using MS Forms. There's an example here. When you set up the MS form, when you're writing an assessment or whichever for your students, you can input the answers. And of course, that then means that the form will be marked for you when you come back to it as well. So that's been very time saving for us also. The other strategy that I use that over time becomes time saving is peer marking and training students to peer mark effectively. This is one of the documents that I have for my first years. This is a mark scheme where we have firstly sort of written the mark scheme in from the AQA mark scheme and basically shown how we've got those answers, underlined and highlighted the key aspects. Because when we come in and students come to us and they start looking at mark schemes, they sort of look at things and go, well, that's what I meant, and tick it off. It's not very accurate. And I wanted a way really of knowing that I could allow students to peer assess, which I think is a good skill in itself, but equally so do it in an accurate manner. So over time, initially, this is quite time consuming, but over time, when we're sort of getting towards Christmas of first year and beyond, students are a lot more aware of how specific these mark schemes are and actually then need a lot less help in peer assessing effectively, which of course again reduces my marking load and also the amount of time it takes for that to happen. And then finally, my fifth one, which is probably my favourite, is getting your students to produce some resources for you. This idea, lots of ideas can be found in this guide here, the Lazy Teacher's Handbook, quite an oxymoron in itself. But I do like the idea of getting your students to help you produce effective resources that are specific to their particular groups. So what you might produce questions for one class might not be relevant to another. So two of my favourites are the beach ball game. I do like having a beach ball chucked about. And when the students pass the ball on, they have to ask a question about the lesson. And then the other student has to answer it and so on. So they are basically producing an activity by themselves there and also sort of a check-in assessment from others. And then also one of my other favourites is using a post-it note, and I get students at the end of a lesson or the end of a topic to write down a question that they still may have that they don't understand, get them to stick it on the door. It tells me what I may need to go over again, but what I then do is use that then as a starter for my next lesson. So I will either get other students to help answer those questions and go over them as a class, but I've actually effectively produced a plenary and a starter activity, all student-centred, which is exactly how I like the classroom to be. So I hope I've given you some great ideas there. If you would like any more help or support, then please do contact us on Twitter at TNL Runshaw, or email us on online learning support at runshaw.ac.uk, and we will be more than happy to help. Take care. Bye.